Last time on Trials and Tribulations. Don't judge me. In case you missed anything, let's fill you in on this case. We found out the water under the bridge wasn't washing up to shore.
That testimony is filled with holes. The defense requests to cross-examine the eyewitness.
And so we did.
Oh, Mr. Foster.
Are those butterflies?
And we got nowhere with that either.
This charming little witness told a charming little lie.
Speaking of lies, let's see what lies in store on Ace Attorney, Trials and Tribulations. Next!
That's all there is to it.
This beautiful young lady has been lying to the court?
Objection! Just a moment, Your Honor.
It to Mr. Edgeworth?
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Your Honor, allow me to personally apologize for the confusion.
What do you mean?
There's one major mistake in this diagram.
What did you say?
What are you referring to?
It's all because this diagram was made after the incident occurred. It's a very old bridge. We couldn't find any official blueprints of it.
So you're saying...
I'm saying that even though the bridge is currently in disrepair, there's no evidence that can prove that the bridge was broken during the incident.
Ridiculous!
You can't actually tell the condition of the bridge from this photo. I apologize to the court for not being more clear when I presented the evidence.
That guy is good.
Huh? What do you mean?
He planned it from the beginning. He's a genius, all right. That diagram of the bridge was his insurance policy.
What? That coward!
Well, Miss Fay, it seems you've once again made a reckless accusation.
I'm so sorry. I should have been more careful myself.
No, it wasn't your fault at all.
Now then, shall we go on with the trial? I'd like to establish, once and for all, what it was that the witness actually saw.
Indeed. All right, young lady. May I ask you to please proceed with your testimony?
But it's so hard to go on.
We're all on your side, Miss Foster.
There's no need to worry. Just tell us what you saw.
Yes, sir. After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms. Then he carried her over to the car. I suppose that was the only way he could make sure the body stayed hidden. He couldn't just leave the body on top of the bridge. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm only supposed to talk about what I saw.
Witnessing such violence must have been difficult.
Yes, sir. I'm still shaken up.
If he accepts this testimony as it is, we're finished.
Don't say that.
Oh well, maybe I'll stop off on my favorite cafe on the way home. They make a really great mocha latte.
This trial isn't over yet.
That's what I like to hear.
All right, Miss Fay. Your cross-examination, if you please.
The contradiction is staring you right in the face, Mia. Go on the attack. Here we go. So, we've heard about what she supposedly saw with her own eyes, which I think must be pretty hard since they're filled with tears all the time. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Armando. Did you mean to say something? Well, let's see. So she claims she saw... Hold it! And you're absolutely certain that it was my client who was carrying the body?
Well, he was wearing a prisoner's uniform, but as for his face...
So you're saying you didn't get a clear look at his face?
Well, they were far away, and it was raining as well. I thought I was only supposed to say exactly what I saw.
Excellent! You're a remarkably honest young woman.
Something about this testimony is bothering me. But what?
Hey, Keaton, have you ever put salt in your coffee?
No. Why would I?
Why not?
Huh?
It may actually go better with coffee than sugar, right? Listen, my point is, if you're not sure, you might as well add a ton of salt to it. It might bring out the rust in something, like a piece of evidence.
Oh, it's a metaphor. Oh.
He's right, Mia. Go present something. You've got nothing to lose.
By the way, I wouldn't put salt in my coffee. I get hypertension.
So, salt in the coffee. I don't know about that metaphor. Hold it! You mean the defendant carried the body all by himself?
Yes?
Considering the size of the defendant, I don't think it would be difficult.
Yes, but let's remember they were on a narrow bridge that was ready to collapse. Is it even possible for him to have carried a dead body on a bridge like that?
Objection! Well, the fact of the matter is that he did. That kind of talk is just silly.
Wow. Why did he get so emotional all of a sudden?
Miss Faye, if you think there's some other possibility, please share it with the rest of us.
Another possibility? Other than carrying the body off of the bridge? Any other place to hide it? There's not a lot to do out there in the mountains, is there? Not the note. That bridge. I don't need the scarf. Objection! The bridge. Objection! A killer not wanting his victim to be found, I can understand that. However, the idea of moving the body for that purpose is clearly odd. There was a much easier way to make sure the body wasn't found.
Well, what is it?
Take another look at the map of the area and you'll see how. There's a river right below the bridge. Earlier, Mr. Edgeworth pointed out something interesting about the river. For those who are not aware, Eagle River is well known for its powerful current. Most bodies that fall in are never recovered. In the kidnapping case 5 years ago, the victim's body was carried away and never found. If 10 murders were to occur at that same spot above the Eagle River, you can bet your boots that every other killer would have tossed the body in the water.
Order! 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 I'm not sure if I care for the way you put that, Miss Faye. I must admit it does seem odd not to have thrown the body in the river. Well, Mr. Edgeworth?
How sad. Perhaps Miss Fay would do well to try taking a dip in the river herself. After all, you claim to be such an expert in the ways of nature.
What are you talking about?
My point is that no matter how odd you may find the killer's method of body disposal, the fact is that this is what the killer did. None of your arguments have anything to do with what the witness saw.
Quite true. Miss Fay, it seems that your assertions is without merit after all.
Objection! But what the witness claims to have seen is totally ridiculous.
Objection! Surely you can't deny that the body was found in the trunk of the car.
That's certainly consistent with what the witness has told us.
Please, witness, go on with your testimony.
I'll try.
All you have to do is tell us only what you saw. Otherwise, the mean lady might yell at you again.
Who is he talking about?
All right. I'll do my best.
Oh, I'll give him a mean lady. So, she says she saw all this. No, I still don't want salt in my coffee, Mr. Armando. Got her off the bridge into the trunk of the car. Well, let's think about this. Is she sure about seeing that? Objection! Changed my mind. Let's see. Not the crime photo. Talked about the victim's note earlier. I don't need that. The map? Well, we know what the area is like already. So if you didn't leave it on top of the bridge, and she's sure that's what she saw. Think. Clear your mind, Mia. Hold it! What did the man do then?
Well, naturally, he got in the car and was about to flee. That's when I came to my senses. I said to myself, you have to call the police.
And so that's when you called the police?
You're sure that you saw all that with your own eyes?
Yes, I'm 100% certain.
Hold it! Why do you say that? It's already a broken-down bridge hidden away in the mountains. Doing anything more to hide the corpse would be going overboard, wouldn't it?
Yes, but that mountain is famous among hikers. A surprising number of people go up there.
But it's February, right? And it was raining that day, correct?
There is also a small temple and a channeling dojo there. You know those monks. They just love cold, isolated places.
I think the witness is trying to say that the corpse could have been found at any time. Besides, the witness is merely reporting what she witnessed with her own eyes.
If she's a hiker, I'm a giraffe. She couldn't have seen that, could she? I still do not want any salty coffee. Stop offering. We are still stuck on this first testimony. Need to get her to move on. Objection! I changed my mind. Objection! I changed it again! Not the camera. What do I want the camera for? It's so pink. We already tried that! Objection! Well, Miss Foster, it looks like you've done it this time.
Done what?
Made a crucial mistake.
Crucial mistake? Like what, Miss Faye?
The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body there. You're saying you saw that, right? With your very own eyes?
Yes. And?
It's simple, Miss Foster. Take a look at the diagram. The place you claim to have taken the photo from that day is here. Do you see what I mean? Even if you tried to see the car, this outcropping of rock is directly in the way. That's right, Miss Foster. From where you were standing, you could not have possibly seen the killer's car.
Objection! I admit that the diagram shows a large outcropping of rock. However, it isn't so tall that it would stop her from seeing the car.
That's right. It's not high at all. I was able to see the car just fine.
I'm so sorry, but that just doesn't wash. I believe it was the witness who presented this as evidence to the court, yes? This is the location that the photo was taken from. Your own photo tells the whole story. You can clearly see the left side of the bridge. But the outcropping that is being referred to is really more like a cliff.
Oh!
Your view should have been completely cut off by this cliff. But you still claim to have been able to see the killer's car.
Order! Order in the court! What is the meaning of all this ballyhoo?
Your Honor, don't jump to any hasty conclusions. The fact that the escapee fled in a stolen car was reported on the news. After witnessing a murder, I'm sure you can appreciate that the witness was very upset. She must have heard about the stolen car and convinced herself that she saw it.
Objection! But she was repeatedly warned before starting her testimony. She was told to testify only about what she saw with her own eyes.
Oh!
Mr. Judge?
What is it?
I think I must have remembered things wrong.
Hold it! Hey, wait a minute! You can't just say that!
Objection! Miss Faye, no one on the face of the planet is perfect.
Yes, indeed. Quite true. You know what they say. To err is human, to forgive, beard. I'm inclined to give the benefit of the doubt to our witness here.
What? That's not fair!
Save the tears for later, Keaton.
Mr. Armando!
Don't look back until the trial's over. Now is the time to look forward.
But that wasn't fair!
Okay, kitten. You need to relax. Then you need to remember the other kitten's testimony.
The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there.
So tell us, how did you know that? How did you know that he broke into the trunk?
Aha!
Until you can explain how you knew that. You're going to have a lot of very suspicious people on this side of the courtroom.
Well, witness?
Well, I'm certain that he broke into the trunk because there were marks left on the trunk lid. I'm certain they were scratch marks from when he broke into it.
What? Let me see that photo. It's true. These certainly look like scratch marks around the keyhole. It's obvious that this trunk has been broken open. Well, Miss Faye, are you satisfied?
The judge is on her side. I can't make any mistakes here. What she just said, is there a contradiction in there somewhere? Oh, you bet. Melissa Foster, it looks like you finally betrayed yourself.
What?
You said you were in a field taking photos of wildflowers and selfies, but even so, you knew about the scratches. The question is, when? When did you get a chance to see those scratches? Finally! I finally got her!
Ha! I'm getting pretty tired of waiting over here.
Then perhaps it would be faster if Miss Faye explained herself.
Your Honor, there's only one possible explanation. The reason the witness had seen the scratches was rather simple. There's only one way that the witness had the chance to see those scratches.
Yes? What was it?
Naturally, when she opened the trunk and stuffed the corpse in herself. The person who really hid the body in the trunk of that car was Melissa Foster! It was you that did it, wasn't it?
That's ridiculous! I could never. It was the man in the prison garb. He's the one that...
I don't think so, Miss Foster. If Mr. Falls had been the one that put the corpse in the trunk, he would have simply used the car key. There was no need to break it open.
But he stole the car!
He stole it from a young couple that had been waiting at a red light. Which means that the key would have still been in the ignition.
Oh, I see.
Thank you for telling us about the scratches, Miss Foster. Without that, we never would have uncovered the truth. It couldn't have been Mr. Falls that put the body in the trunk.
No!
Objection! Preposterous! To even suggest that the witness put the body in there. If that were true, then how do you explain the photo that she took? The corpse could only have been put in the trunk when the incident occurred. And we already know that at the time, she was taking photographs.
Now is your chance, Mia. Finish this thing! On the contrary, I'm not so certain about that anymore, Mr. Edgeworth.
Huh?
There's no need to think too deeply about it. What I'm saying is the shutter for this may not have been pushed by Miss Foster herself. No, it's coming next. Take that! I don't think you can make a mistake about it. Take a look at her camera. It has a timer built into it, even a mini tripod. It's super pink. Almost as if the camera was brought just to take this picture.
Objection! What are you trying to say then, Miss Fay? That when the crime occurred, Miss Foster wasn't in the field as she claimed?
Well, if she really did use the camera's auto timer, then the answer is yes, she was somewhere else. Exactly. She was not in the field.
Would the defense please explain further?
Listen, this is a critical point. Where was Miss Foster when the incident occurred? And answering that question will also make clear Miss Foster's true identity.
Well then, please answer this question. Where was Melissa Foster when the incident on the bridge occurred?
That's a very good question. Take that! Naturally, the witness was right here.
But that's where the victim, Miss Hawthorne, was standing. Order! Miss Fay, what on earth?
Your Honor, if I may. After parting with the victim on the bridge, the defendant fled by car. But this would mean that there was no time to put the victim in the trunk. In other words, if someone put the body in the trunk, it could only have been before the defendant met the victim.
Objection! How asinine! Of course Mr. Falls met with the victim. The only person with the opportunity to have put the victim in the trunk is the same man that killed her, Terry Falls.
Objection! You still don't understand, do you, Mr. Edgeworth? By the time the witness's photo was taken, the victim was already dead. The person in the photo was not Valerie Hawthorne!
Objection! What? I've never heard anything more ridiculous in my entire life. Then who exactly is the victim in this photo?
It's obvious, isn't it? It's your own witness!
What?
It's the only possible explanation. The woman that Mr. Falls met on the bridge that day was not Valerie Hawthorne. It was you, Melissa Foster!
Me?
Let's remember that it was raining and foggy on the mountain that day. Mr. Falls himself believed that the woman in front of him was Valerie Hawthorne.
Objection! But the defendant knew Valerie Hawthorne very well. After all, she was the woman whose testimony helped get him convicted.
Objection! But since then, my client has spent 5 hard years in a federal penitentiary. He couldn't remember exactly what she looked like anymore.
You are just making this up as you go along! Where's your proof?
I've got it all right here! This piece of evidence will blow this case wide open. At the time of the incident, Mr. Falls had forgotten what Valerie Hawthorne had looked like. No, not that. Not that either. You know what it is! Take that! Mr. Falls had forgotten the victim's face. That's why he needed some piece of identification, namely this muddy It was Mr. Falls who requested that she wear the scarf to identify herself. That's already been proven by the note the victim left. In other words, as long as you were wearing a scarf like he asked, anyone could have pretended to be Valerie Hawthorne. Well, what do you have to say to that, Melissa Foster?
Where's Miss Foster?
She's collecting herself in the lobby.
It's obvious that Melissa Foster did it. She hid the body in the trunk and disguised herself as the victim. She set up the camera to snap a fake photo of them together.
The only question is, why did she do it?
Well, isn't that obvious? She's the true criminal.
Ha!
Well, we'll have to wait for Miss Foster to compose herself before we start again. Until then, this court is in recess. The defense and the prosecution are instructed to wait in the lobby.
Yes, Your Honor.
Understood.
Very well. This court is in recess.
Let's Dub Project.